audit, which has targeted biodiversity in their reporting. Okay.
Yeah, they have created a complete, biodiversity park where they
It's their
have
campus
ensured that different kinds of species are, living there and,
birds.
with that birds and all that stuff.
Correct. Absolutely
Uh,
correct. Absolutely correct. So the campuses of Bipro were sprawling in Bangalore when they started initially. And what they did is they did the plantation over years. Yeah, slowly they have planted that whole of their campus. And now the campus has biodiversity in a sense that lot of birds, specifically different type of species, are living on those trees. And now Wipro is able to report about their biodiversity initiative. Yeah, so they have been blessed with that land where they have a campus, and now that campus houses massive different species of birds, and that becomes an added advantage in their ESG report where they are showing biodiversity. Of course, second is climate change. Most of the companies are targeting climate change given the nature of their businesses. For example, cement and steel industry, if you are aware, if you have attended our GRI session or GHG session, you know that scope 1 emission is highest in case of steel and cement. And then it goes down slowly towards service industry where you have a scope 3 as a highest element. Pollution resources is again a part of environment along with water security, which goes hand in hand sometime. Then you have social. Social also has four critical factors which we need to consider whenever we are talking about investing otherwise. Labor standard is first, then human right, community, health, safety, and customer responsibility is the area there. Then we discussed about ESG factor with ESG issue, right? We said that factors are generally use of or interaction with renewable and non-renewable energy. Rather, when you compare is climate change, resource depletion, and pollution. When we are talking about social management of human capital, non-human animals, local communities and clients becomes the factor, while human right becomes the issue. Working condition becomes the issue along with the employee relation. If I'm talking about governance, of course, it is issues which are tied to country or jurisdictions, common industry practices in that country or jurisdictions, or a stakeholder interest is your factor. When we talk about ESG issues, then of course we are talking about bribery, corruption, executive pay, and board diversity. Now, socially responsible investment has a spectrum. It is detailed in the book, and we have also discussed in detail that how it everything starts with traditional philanthropy and then it becomes fully commercial investment. In between, ESG investing is counted as sustainable and responsible investing, which enhances the long-term value by using these factors which I have just showcased you in this circle, the previous circle, if you remember. Now, we also discussed about how socially responsible investing has a investment thesis. So here the thesis is around applying social and environmental criteria in evaluation. While best in class investment, you put a positive screening, seeing that which industry or company is showing positive traits of these ESG factors, right? Like if a company which has a good carbon credits, they will be my target. If the company has bad carbon credit, means they are emitting too much of carbon, of course, that is not where I will not invest. Why? Because it is not best in class investment. If I'm talking about sustainable investment, then the selection of asset means your equity, debt, bond, etc., that contributes in a way to sustainable economy will be considered. Now, if you see thematic investments, themes or asset specifically relating to ESG factors like green energy, green tech, sustained agriculture are specific themes. Thematic is investment themes or asset specifically relating to ESG factors like clean energy, green tech, or sustain agri is considered to be part of the same. Now, green investment, if you look, the refer to allocation of capital to climate change, biodiversity loss, resource inefficiency is part of the same. Now, we have discussed this in detail along with the impact investment, where we talked about negative screening specifically, that if you are targeting impact investment, you will put a negative screen. What do you mean by negative screen? That you are trying to filter out those company which has negative connotation. For example, they are investing in alcohol. That company I will never invest. So any company which comes out to be, producing alcohol as a product, I will not be investing. Now, if you look green investment, of course, this refers to allocating capital to asset that mitigate climate change. So anything, any company which is targeting to mitigate climate change, if I am investing, then I can say it is a green investment for me. Or they are protected biodiversity loss. So company which is behind, coral reef protection or bird migration, if they are doing such kind of activity and I am investing in that, that investment will be called as green investing. Or resource inefficiency, if I'm seeing that, look, lithium has been mined excessively in this area and my company works on controlling that aspect, then I and somebody invest in that company is doing a green investment. The green investment can be two types: equity or bonds. Green bonds are well known all across world. We talk about it. Why? Because all souvenirs, souvenirs, the governments are releasing green bonds. Yeah, they raise money for climate and environmental project by launching such kind of bonds. Now, shareholder engagement here is critical in such kind of stuff. Why? It's another kind of investment where shareholder decides that company is doing something wrong and I need to actively guide them on the ESG matter. And the last but not least is the triple bottom line, which talks about triple P. How many of you remember triple P concept? All of you, right? Or anybody who do not remember and want me to revise it for you guys? Anyone? Triple P, the profit, planet, and people. Do you want me to revise it or?
No, no, we remember. See, we in GRI, we have discussed that.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Perfect. So let's go and discuss about macro level debate. This also we have discussed in detail that, there is a huge debate is going on, ongoing, and a lot of people are adopting principle for responsible investing, and the numbers have been expanding like anything. Financial materiality in ESG integration remains a key topic. Why? Again, financial materiality in integration comes from the concept of double materiality, if you remember. So how you impact environment and the environment which got changed, how it impacts back to you. That's relationship we need to establish through double materiality. For example, financial materiality of ESG integration includes increase in revenue. So definitely, if I am integrating ESG in my fundamentals, in my investing, and my revenue increases, my dividend increases, then in that case, I can say that I have a financial materiality of this ESG integration. Second, reduction of cost and increased efficiency. So if by including negative or positive screens or best in class of investment, my cost of operation reduces. For example, if say uh, environmental factor of reduction of waste, right? Reduction of waste. Very common example, let me give you, is wastewater. The rainwater, you must have heard, rainwater, which generally gets wasted if you are not harvesting it. So if putting rainwater harvesting in my society improvises and reduces cost of pumping the water, means getting water from tankers and supplying to household, if by implementing rainwater harvesting I am able to reduce the cost, that will be the benefit of financial materiality of ESG integration. How many of you agree with that? Do you see a value in this, in rainwater harvesting in this way?
Absolutely.
It controls the cost, right? Eventually, it helps us to control the cost. Correct? Give me any other example, team. Find out any other example by integrating E, S, and G factor, my cost should be going down.
All, no, any recycle, reduction, reuse, any type
Our
of.
use of clean energy like solar for my production units or
Yeah, so if you are using solar, of course, there will be upside, huge investment, but every year I will get per unit 2 rupees instead of 8 rupees or 10 rupees for my industry.
Windmill also, no, sir?
Windmill also
Okay.
could be a good idea to reduce cost. So benefit of this ESG integration could be that I install a windmill and now my whole company is dependent on renewable resource. There is no cost, right, other than the capex cost which I put. And of course, I will get a depreciation and appreciation based on that area location, right? Because it requires land as well. So that's another good example. Any other example? Rajni we are talking about, we are revising right now the previous class itself, which you must have watched by now. What we are doing is we
There
are
were
trying
no
to.
recordings for the previous class yesterday. Till yesterday, there were no recordings available because I had asked Sandeep. Sandeep told me that no, it could not be recorded.
Oh, I will check
In
that.
ESG
Anytime.
Pro, in his number it is saved. Perhaps you are also there. तो उसकी recording तो थी ही नहीं.
अच्छा.
और बाकी जो ठीक है. एंड टुडे क्लास ऑल्सो आई हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग रिजर्वेशन कि ये भी हमें 18:32 पर पता चला. 18:32 पर मैसेज आया कि क्लास है.
ओ, इज
और
इट?
आई सॉ जस्ट नाउ.
कल उसने बताया होगा ना कि आज क्लास
ना
पोस्टपोन
ना
हुआ है.
ना ना उसने सिर्फ ये बताया कि आज नहीं होगी.
just we got the message.
This is not done.
No, this is not
Not
done.
called for. Not called
No,
for
no,
because you have
absolutely.
to prepare. You have to find time. We are not a student कि हम खाली बैठे हुए हैं. हम लोगों को अपने लिए समय निकालना होता है ना विवेक जी.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. I agree with you. I agree with you.
हमें अगर पहले से एक दिन पहले नोट.
Back. So we were talking about what are the benefits of ESG integration. So how it becomes financially material. And if you remember the double materiality concept, we always talk about how we as a company or an individual or a country impact environment and how environment impacts back our financial. That linkage is critical in double materiality, and same thing happens whenever we talk about ESG integration. How we have seen that? We saw it with the increased in revenue. So company which integrates ESG through negative or positive screening, we learned that we try to find out companies which have which are, doing good stuff in E, S, and G side. For example, we talked about carbon credit. If somebody is generating carbon credit through harvesting, that company is called as coming out of positive screening. When I am saying negative screening, I will put a screen which will have alcohol, all that list, cigarettes, tobacco, that I am not going to invest in this company. So I'll put that screen, put all my samples of assets, which are bonds and debt, bonds or equity, and see which one is not having a exposure to this sector. If they don't have, that is the negative screening, and that I will include into my ESG integration. I will do ESG integration. And here, by doing this integration, I also see there are benefit which we receive. For example, first benefit is increase in revenue. Second benefit is reduction in cost and increase in efficiency. For example, just now we said that putting a rain.
Right.
Sorry.
No, no, sir.
Okay. So same way, reduction in cost and increase in efficiency happens. For example, solar power plant, etc., etc. Yeah, rainwater harvesting. All this putting up reduces my operational cost. Third is reduce risk of fine and state intervention. For example, there is a case study of Kazakhstan where Kazakhstan has ended its cooperation with a steel giant. These companies decides sometime country fate, and this country, which is very small in size, has ends its operation with a steel giant ArcelorMittal after 33 were killed in the mine fire. So you have to understand, if there are not enough protective system, due to governance lapses, due to social inconsideration, or due to environmental not being conscious, you will be risking the not only the company fate but company expansion plan. And that is why the third advantage anybody gets by ESG integration is a reduction of risk of fine and state intervention, which was one of this example. Now link, what I will do is I will post it, or let me show you guys. There is a small quick video which is talking about specifically this particular Kazakhstan wildfire, miners which got devastated. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
У меня это племянник. Нету ни среди живых, ни погибших.
So this specific documentary was part of report which talks about can you see Kazakh miner family worried about deadly fire, and after this fire specifically ArcelorMittal was banned. So their all concession which was given for 30 years, 50 years generally in this case were completely cancelled. You can understand the financial implication that company has gone through, irrespective of they must have gone to courts, international courts, etc. But that's a headache. Yeah, so better be on the right side of the recommendation. Another example in India, how many of you are aware about in India also similar case has happened? In I believe where miners were stuck, and then the company which were having the contract were banned as well, and they were asked to pay for all the rescue operation, etc. Yeah, rat miners, right? Was it rat miners? No, there was a before that. Okay, I will share with you guys that link as well. In India also
This was a recent case, no, which happened in
absolutely
Uttarakhand.
it was an absolutely recent case.
And in one tunnel, I think many, they were trapped. They were
Correct.
rat miners only.
Correct. It was 2024, I believe. It was 2024.
बहुत शोशा 3-4 दिन चैनल पर चलता रहा था ये.
Correct. 45
It was Uttarakhand, if I'm not wrong.
उत्तराखंड, yeah, उत्तराखंड sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes sir.
First at 7 a.m, one of the most incredible stories of mateship and perseverance we've ever told on Today. With 41 miners trapped underground in India for 17 days, all freed. This is where it's happened, in the country's north, in a remote town called Uttarkashi, a deeply religious part of India, home to some of the most sacred temples to the Hindu people. And that's why this mission is being called a miracle. All workers pulled to safety, none of them seriously injured, thanks in no small part to an Aussie.
So leading the rescue teams being called messiahs, an Australian tunnelling expert, Arnold Dix from Melbourne, who told us live and first on Today how everyone came together to pull off this mission impossible.
Despite all the odds being against us, the experts have all come together, all the Army, the Air Force, all the agencies, the experts, whatever, and we did it. Like, no one's hurt. Like, no one. We didn't, not even one drop of blood. Somehow or other, we've managed to to rescue all these people, and it's just phenomenal. And at a time when the whole world is demonstrating.
That was the case, and repercussion was that the company which was doing the mining has been penalized. Yeah, this particular report doesn't talk about it. I will share with you that they were actually out of market in that case. Okay, so that is the another benefit you get if you integrate the ESG mining and sorry, ESG, you integrate the ESG factors into your operation, you are safer than anybody else. That's the advantage. Now, another advantage is improved ability to benefit from employee productivity and mega trends. So this will definitely help you to increase the productivity if you are careful about your employee, human rights, etc. If you have the social factors in play, it helps you increase the employee productivity. Same time, it also helps you to capture those mega trends which are happening right now. For example, carbon credit is one of the mega trend which is happening, and anybody who is trying to capture this opportunity is going to get benefited. Finally, it also helps in better asset management. So the return gets better while the risk reduces, right? It reduces the externality because you are considering those unforeseen circumstances in businesses like flash flood, fire, etc. And this is how a guy, a very famous guy now on internet, especially internet, he became internet sensation. He was a NASA scientist based out of Los Angeles who left Los Angeles just before time. And he predicted before leaving that I am leaving this city because I know there is a high chances of this city getting burned. And exactly that has happened. The whole city got burned, right? Los Angeles, which is a casino city and one of the very famous city of Columbia State, got in fire. And again, a lot of losses of assets as well as human being has happened there. So point here is you remove that, you reduce that externality and have a better asset management if you integrate ESG. Of course, we have learned about the double materiality. The financial materiality is one part of it. The second part is the ESG factor in impacting the environment. So in the center, if you see, double materiality talks about that how a company impacts the company, what kind of impact a company has on climate and how climate impacts the company. This relationship basically is showing through the double materiality. I hope all of you have attended that session. Anybody who has not attended that session, let me know and I will try to cover it in detail. Otherwise, we will move on. Okay, so that was the double materiality part. And then, of course, improved benefits from sustainability. Mega trend is another topic in itself. That if you are able to track that mega trend is a very key concept in any value investment, any growth investment or value investment. We always target those mega trend so that we are invested in a company or industry which is going to grow faster and much larger. For example, AI ML. Now, you might be aware in a day, whole US market has lost more than a total, total wealth of a country like Spain. They have lost $1.5 trillion yesterday in the market, in the stock market. And only one stock. DeepSeek, absolutely, Bhaskar. DeepSeek is one company which is a part of Megatrend, and whoever was invested, or of course you can't invest, it's a Chinese state company, not owned directly but indirectly, and they have changed the whole landscape of USA currently, which has promised just 2 days ago. Trump has announced that he want to invest $500 billion only in one industry, which is AI, where whole world is not investing more than $5 billion. India has committed only $1 billion. These guys, Americans, Chinese, has developed a system which is fraction of the cost of whole American systems. Okay. So their AI system is at a cost which is lowest in the world and giving performance better than their best of the best technology like OpenAI, right? And Cloud 3.5. So they have beaten that technology by 2 or 1 basis point, 88, 88, both a score. There is a scoring given to different parameters. And those scores, these Chinese were able to match with the cost, which is 100. It's a mind-boggling number. And how they are doing it? They are doing it with the old technology, right? So their technology is different than what currently Nvidia or all those giants are doing. So of course, details are yet to come. I'm also not fully aware, but what we are aware is whole market scene has been changed, and India also may join in disrupting the market very soon. We did it with ISRO, right? We send our satellite at a cost of 1/100th cost of what America sends a satellite or NASA sends a satellite. So that is why such kind of technologies are disruptor. And a mega trend, these are the kinds of meta. Space tech is another mega trend, by the way. Defense tech is another mega trend. So these are the mega trends. If you try to include that into your investment philosophy, that can only happen if you bring the ESG into play, right? Of course, here I doubt in Chinese have done anything on the ESG side, but at least they are a part of mega trend which is disrupting the market. Then comes the technological innovation. You have to include innovation. Tech is the only factor which differentiates a whole effort. Then demographic change and wealth inequality is another mega trend which will be also very quite evident very soon. Specifically, we are seeing in the case of Japan, the aging economy, right? Where the deflation is the norm, not inflation, right? There is never prices, milk price goes up. First time, by the way, in India also, first time Amul has reduced the price, right? How many of you know about that? It's
I knew.
1 rupee say they have
1 रुपया
reduced
कम
it.
किया उसने.
Yeah, first time. So I hope we are not going into Japan direction. We need to keep increasing, but it's a good news for general people that even milk prices can be controlled and can be brought into, and that is why we need company like Amul, right? It's a cooperative and it has set a standards which is appreciated all across the world. They do not want to go to IPO. They can make millions of dollars, but they do not want to go and mint from the market. Rather, they want to remain authentic and help world. So evaluation of materiality from static. So earlier, all materiality discussion used to happen from one point of view. Now materiality changes. So right now, what is material for you? Within a month, it will be material. Yeah. For example, Chat GPT was very material topic, right? Without that, we can't see the world. Now, Chat GPT will be going out of the market, maybe. I hope it doesn't happen. And Chinese, which will hack your phone when you will load their, load their app. They will take all your data, even your personal data, and process it and give you better result, right? And they are taking that. By the way, I have tried it. They have a really good system, and it is as good as Chat GPT Pro version. Okay, I've tried it. Exactly, actually better result I got in certain cases. So they have developed that system now. However, by trouble is the access which they are asking is really bad. They are taking your photograph access on the mobile. They are taking everything. And if you don't accept, they will not let you access their, deep seek. So that's another challenge. So it's not a part of ESG discussion, but it's a part of mega trend discussion. Okay. There are challenges as well in integrating ESG. And first challenge comes from the data availability point of view. Now that we have learned, and I have hammered several times to you guys, that data is the critical element in ESG reporting. When we were doing GRI bootcamp, in GHG reporting, when we were doing GHG collection data, the activity data, and now when we are talking about ESG investing, right? Because analysis is limited by corporate disclosure. So whatever you have reported, I have to build all my models, all my discussions, all my theory, a story on the data which you have told me, right? However, I need to verify it based on the quality of that data or the source of that data who is providing me. And there is no single standard here, right? There is no specific standard that you follow. There is a GRI, there is a CSRD, there is a TCFD, there is BRSR, and all of them has a different kind of requirement altogether. 80%, just to give you a confidence, 80% norms are common. So at least you can have a confidence. If I am reporting GRI and you have taken that session, they know that they can even easily do BRSR. So that's the point number one. Data availability is the major challenge in integrating ESG into financial model or in decision making. So if somebody decides tomorrow as a board of director, let's include ESG in all our decision making. The trouble will be, does your company produces that kind of data? Will you get that data from wherever you want to expand or you want to invest? Now, Indore, if as you have, for example, geographic expansion. So a Delhi company wants to expand in India, right? And he wants to consciously expand it, right? Now he can target Indore because Indore generates sustainability data. And he can say that, look, I am going in a city which is clean, not only clean, Swachh Bharat top ranker, but also a smart city. Second, third, it is also, it knows that if I am running on their road, my car, that how much carbon emission that road is emitting, right? Or how much carbon emission that city is emitting. That data is available there, but it's not available all across the India. So we need to make such kind of decision. And when I am talking about I want to become green building, I want to create green society, I need to also have a grid which can make it green. Correct or wrong? Yeah, or I need to develop my own self captive unit. So that's the challenge number one. Challenge number two is modeling. Now, once data comes to you, it does not have a short-term impact, right? Generally, all the data which you are collecting has a long-term impact. So here the focus on risk factor, yeah, and less on the positive or ESG performance is critical here. So positive, you cannot collect and prepare model only on the positive screening, that any company which is doing good in climate, that company only should be part of my discussion. You cannot do that, right? You have to also because you want to apply ESG not only in the climate tech companies or carbon credit developing country. You also want to invest in a company which is right now carbon intensive, but a possibility is that it will become carbon neutral. Or you cannot ignore GDP based companies like construction or steel. Can you? Right? So that is why we have to realize that modeling is also a critical element here, and it's very difficult. Third part is the valuation technique. So this is the third challenge, that which kind of valuation I should put so that when I am sitting evaluating two projects, I will be able to make a right decision. Why?
सर
Yes, please.
इंटरप्ट सर, आप कोई प्रेजेंटेशन दिखा रहे हैं क्या?
Oh, is it not visible?
यस, वी आर सीइंग यू. नॉर्मली आप एक्सटेम्पो बोलते नहीं है इतना.
Come on, Miss oh my God. I thought you guys are seeing this slide.
सॉरी.
No, no, good. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, okay. So data availability, modeling, and valuation technique. These are the three techniques. Of course, I have spoken for half an hour, but this is what I was talking about. Okay, so the last part is the valuation technique. So how to decide in which company I should integrate ESG and which one is not helping me, even though I'm integrating it. That becomes a challenge. And why it becomes challenge? Because there are different discount rates I need to adopt. For example, a company which is 100% compliant, right, on the carbon accounting side, 100% they are GRI compliant. Their future cash flow, maybe every year that cash flow is increasing by 5%. For example, this year उन्होंने 100 रुपए का कैश दिया, 20 रुपए का डिविडेंड उस पे आया, 80 rupees they have plot back. Second year, 105 रुपए का cash they have generated. They have deposited, they have given you 25 rupees dividend and 80 rupees they have plot back. Third year, just this is the example, right? Now this company will have a discounting rate to calculate real value, right? These are the cash flow over a year, over different years. And I'm just giving you in simple language a valuation technique right now. So be a little bit, thoughtful. Why? Because this concept looks very simple, but it is world most difficult stuff which challenges a lot of valuators. So what did I tell you? I told you that there's a company which is 100% compliant, means they follow GRI standard in toto. They report their environment, social and governance performance in their company. Now this company generates cash in the business is 100 rupees in year one, 105 in year two, 110 in year three. Just example. Every year 5 rupees increase, 5% increase in general, I'm saying. Now here, what I need to understand, this company can generate 80 rupees plus 20 rupees, 20 rupee dividend, which they will give me as an investor. 80 rupees they will plow back in the business. Correct? Second year, same thing they are doing. Third year, they are doing same thing. Now, this number which you received today, 20 rupees, tomorrow 25, and day after tomorrow 30 rupees as a dividend, because that's what they are giving you. Do you think value of these three cash is same? आज का 20, कल का 25, and day after 30 rupees. Let's go one by one. Rajni ji, is this all three cash flow value is same? अगर मैं आपको आज 100 रुपए दे रहा हूं और after 1 year down the line, I am giving you 105. Which one you will like to have it? A very simple question.
Today's 100 rupees.
And reason?
Because we know its market value and we are sure we are getting. And tomorrow, after 1 year, what will happen? The rupees will depreciate or what? We don't know. So 105 rupees, maybe 90 rupees
Vivek
or 80
sir
rupees.
Yeah, very good. Vivek sir, let me take the first one first. Vivek sir is ready to give today 100. Maybe tomorrow he doesn't exist. Possible, right?
We don't know whether we'll get or not. That is the first.
That is the point. Vivek sir will be there or not to give you. Right or wrong? This is means I'm just saying the one of the reason. Second reason. Today, 100 rupees in your hand and 100 rupees in my hand has a different value, right? Why? Because you put that 100 rupees in a bank account, Bank of Maharashtra account, and get 110 by year end, because you will get that kind of interest. And in my hand, I'm just giving you 105 only, no, next year. Are you with me? Second,
Yes.
third, the utilization also, the marginal utility of economics, which we talk. In my hand, 100 rupees or after a year, 105 rupees in your hand do not have same utility than what you have today, 100 rupees. अगर आपको जरूरत आज की है 100 रुपए की, तो आपको एक साल बाद में 105 भी दूं, 110 भी दूं, 500 रुपए भी दूं, यूज में आएगा क्या आपको? मान लीजिए आपके बच्चे को आज जाना है यूएस में पढ़ने के लिए, he needs that $100, right? Today, after a year, even though I give you $200, will your son will have same impact? No, he doesn't have that opportunity after 2 years. So the opportunity cost is also a factor. The last but not least is another factor, and that factor is related to the depreciating value of currency. आज 100 रुपया, अब मैंने वो जो एग्जांपल 100 रुपीज का दिया है. Today your son can study in $100 multiply by 85. अभी 87 चल रहा है, but let's assume 85 as the conversion rate. How many of you are aware, Bhaskar ji, are you aware that what will be after 1 year down the line the rupees value? Government of India has said themselves.
No, we can't predict that.
Who knows?
एक नंबर का गेस आया है, by the way. Just let me tell you that also. कि हम लोग टारगेट कर रहे हैं, मार्केट बोल रहा है कि विद इन अ ईयर इंडियन रुपी विल गो टू 100 रुपीज अ डॉलर.
बाप रे, इतना डिवैल्यू.
डिवैल्यूएशन होने वाला है, ऐसा मार्केट में ऑलरेडी र्यूमर है. माय पॉइंट इज, इवन दो 100 ना हो, 90 हो जाए. अब आप सोचिए, 90 मल्टीप्लाई बाय $100 एंड 85 मल्टीप्लाई बाय $100, दोनों सेम है क्या? तो आपका बच्चा जो जाके यूएस में $100 की फीस लेके ही भरने वाला था, पढ़ पाएगा क्या? That's the challenge. This is the last factor which you need to consider. And this all factor you can include in a word called discount factor. Have you understood? Each of us, let's ask me that question, each of you. Subodh ji, did you understand discount factor?
Yeah.
इसने क्या क्या चीज, आप तो इन्वेस्ट करते हो, आपको मालूम है, फिर भी मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ, ये क्या क्या इंक्लूड किया इसमें? इसने इंक्लूड किया इंटरेस्ट, मार्केट का इंटरेस्ट, विच इज कॉल्ड रिस्क फ्री रेट. इसमें क्या इंक्लूड किया मैंने? मार्केट में मिनिमम कितना मिलेगा सर? तो मिनिमम जो आरबीआई दे रही है वो तो मिलेगा ना. आरबीआई कितना दे रही है? 5%, क्योंकि दैट इज अ गवर्नमेंट बॉडी. वॉट एवर दे विल कमिट, एटलीस्ट दे विल मीट. दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू रन. तो मैं आरबीआई का बॉन्ड लूंगा तो मुझे कितना मिलता है? 5 रुपया. दैट इज कॉल्ड रिस्क फ्री रेट. This is second terminology I am giving today. What is that? That first thing is risk free rate. Discount rate एक word हो गया. डिस्काउंट रेट के अंदर में आता है रिस्क फ्री रेट, विच इज व्हाट, विच इज गवर्नमेंट गिविंग यू इंटरेस्ट. Second part is, I told you, just take that devaluation of rupees. It's called purchase power parity change. क्या बोला मैंने? Purchase
Purchase
power
power.
parity change. वो कैसे होता है डिसाइड? तो इंडिया में क्या इसके डेट में इंटरेस्ट रेट चल रहा है? तो 9% चल रहा है सर. करेक्ट? Am I wrong? Anybody has a debate on this?
No.
India में, if I put money or I take loan, how much generally I get? On an average 9% है. अप टू 16% जाता है, और हम लोग जब जमा करते हैं तो 6% 7% ही ये लोग देते हैं. बट जस्ट इमेजिन 9%. ओके, दैट्स अ नंबर. इफ आई डू द सेम इन्वेस्टमेंट इन अमेरिका, हाउ मच परसेंट ऑफ रिटर्न आई विल गेट? वहां पे क्या इंटरेस्ट रेट चल रहा है?
5 to 6 maximum.
5 to 6. डिफरेंस कितना है? 2% का है. इतना डिवैल्यूएशन आपके करेंसी का हो जाएगा एक साल में. नहीं तो आर्बिट्राज है ना. There will be arbitrage, right? That is the fourth word I'm giving you today, arbitrage. So पहला हो गया, मैंने आपको दिया डिस्काउंट रेट. दूसरा हो गया, मैंने आपको बताया रिस्क फ्री रेट, विच इज अ गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड, गवर्नमेंट का जो रेट रहता है वो. और तीसरा मैंने आपको बताया था द परचेज पावर प्रायोरिटी विच चेंजेस. And how this purchase power parity changes? It changes because the differential rate of the US dollar versus any country's currency interest. राइट? दैट डिफरेंशियल गेट्स फिल्ड अप. नहीं तो वो जो आदमी क्या करेगा, नॉर्मली लोग करते भी यही है, यहां से पैसे उठाएंगे, अमेरिका में जाके डिपॉजिट करेंगे, वहां पे करेंसी बढ़ जाती है, यहाँ पे आके फिर सेल कर लेते हैं. राइट? या अमेरिका में जाके पैसे लेते हैं और यहाँ आके इन्वेस्ट कर लेते हैं. आर यू विथ मी? क्योंकि यहाँ पे तो 9% पे आपको इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है, देयर यू आर गोइंग टू गेट इंटरेस्ट इन 5%. So that's the fourth terminology which we have discussed. Fifth one is opportunity cost. There is opportunity cost, right? Me as a company can invest. For example, if which is the best company giving currently returns? Anybody? Any guess?
Defense sector.
Defense sector. 20% का रिटर्न है. तुम अगर मैं मान लो मैं let me take one company which is more plausible. Give me any company. Can you give me any company which is giving return currently 20% का? मतलब प्रॉफिट में 20% आ जा रहा है उनका. वेरी डिफिकल्ट है क्योंकि मार्केट खराब हो गया है, सो वी नेवर नो. बट ड्रोन की एक कंपनी है विच इज गिविंग 20% का रिटर्न. ओके, सो नाउ यू जस्ट इमेजिन ए सिचुएशन. और रेल में आईआरसीटीसी, बेस्ट इज आईआरसीटीसी. रजनी जी, आईआरसीटीसी में इफ आई विल,
आजकल डाउन चल रहा है सर. आईआरएफसी अच्छा चल रहा है.
अच्छा चल रहा है, खराब चल रहा है?
आईआरसीटीसी थोड़ा डाउन चल रहा था, अभी
डाउन
थोड़ा
चल
ठीक
रहा
होगा
है,
तो
बट
होगा.
रिटर्न नहीं, उनका जो एनुअल रिटर्न है वो भी खराब चल
वो
रहा है.
ठीक, नहीं वो ठीक है.
वो ठीक है ना. स्टॉक मार्केट आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग. स्टॉक मार्केट में जो हम आपको बता रहे हैं ना, उसी बेसिस पे वैल्यूएशन होती है. मैं आपको जो बता रहा हूं, दैट्स हाउ दे पुट द डिस्काउंट रेट एंड डिस्काउंट योर कैश फ्लो एंड गेट अ नंबर, ऐड दोज नंबर एंड दे विल गिव यू दैट नंबर विच इज द वैल्यू ऑफ टुडेज मार्केट रेट. And it will be exactly, it's a science. Of course, there is a part of art which is storytelling, which I'm not discussing today. I don't want to muddle it. But the science is this. What is that science? That there will be a discount rate which is built on the basis of this all discussion which we did. And you take the cash flow of that company, include the ESG impact on that company. कि अगर ये कंपनी नेक्स्ट 2 ईयर में कोरोना में नहीं जाती है, क्यों नहीं जाएगी? क्योंकि मैंने उसका इनबिल्ट कर दिया, इंश्योरेंस करा लिया है. अगर कोरोना में अगर इंपैक्ट आ गया मान लो, तब भी इस कंपनी का कैश फ्लो नीचे नहीं होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि दैट कंपनी हैज कंसिडर्ड दैट देयर इज अनदर कोरोना कमिंग डे आफ्टर टुमारो. आर यू विथ मी? If that company has considered, automatically, even though that year there is no revenue for them, they will get it from insurance. Insurance का काम ही यही है ना. अब now I am sure that every year there will be 100 rupees, 105 rupees, 110 rupees income is coming. I have a fixed discount rate because I know it is a ESG compliant. This is my rate of this is my every year cash flow. I add those cash flow after discounting. Yeah, and then discounting also consider the time value of money. तो दो 1 plus r raised to n जो आता है, r जो है वो डिस्काउंट रेट है, और n जो है वो कितने ईयर के बाद आपको कैश फ्लो आ रहा है वो है. आर यू विथ मी? मैंने आपको पूरी मैथमेटिक्स 5-10 मिनट में बताई है. यू नीड टू रीड दिस पार्ट. ओके, वैल्यूएशन टेक्निक बहुत सिंपल है. Go and watch any video you want and you will get this idea. Convert into the simplicity with which I have explained. Okay, don't go into too much of discussions, too much of thinking on this area. लेट्स एंड बाय द वे ये बाद में भी बहुत कवर करेंगे, बट आपको मैं आइडिया दे दे रहा हूं कि डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू शुड नॉट बी अफ्रेड टू सच काइंड ऑफ कंसेप्ट. दीज आर वेरी सिंपल कंसेप्ट्स एज लॉन्ग एज वी हैव अंडरस्टूड इट थॉरली. When you are doing it, again, it will be a little difficult, right? Because there are several assumptions which you need to do. For that, we have people to do that. Low cost people are there, which will do it for you. They will prepare the model, you do the judgment. Then comes the putting ESG into practice. When we talk about putting ESG into practice, first thing we do is ESG investing, right? Where you do negative screening, positive screening, best in class investment in screening, etc., etc. Then shareholder engagement you do and policy engagement. So you also try to influence or consider the policy changes which is happening. For example, BRSR implementation in India. Now this has made 1,000 company to be climate conscious, right? 1,000 companies. Now that need to be considered is called policy engagement. Now, what are the key initiative which has changed the world? I think this part we have not covered in last time, right? Subodhji, if you are there, I believe you remember. This part we have not touched yet. The key initiative because of which ESG investing came into limelight. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and understand what are those key initiatives which has pushed ESG investing in the forefront. The first one, of course, is a key body called UN Global Compact body. Now, this is United Nations Global Compact Initiative, which formally came into 2000, right? But why it is nowadays key initiative and takes the top position because it has 10 different principles. Now, how many of you remember there were principles in BRSR as well? How many principles were there?
9.
Absolutely 9. They have 10. Okay. Second point, why they became so critical, because now 8,000 people have signed, specifically corporate signatories has signed about universal declaration of human rights, that they will follow human rights and international level organization rights to work. This is what UN Global Compact principle requires, and 8,000 plus company has already been signed. Then there is another initiative which was there in 1992. What is that initiative? This initiative is called UN Environment Program for Financial Initiative, which is UNEP-FI. Now, if you know UNFCCC, UNFCCC, United Nations Framework for Climate, the full thing. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here is that there are again 300 members, including most of the central banks, insurers, and investors have signed this, right? And they have produced, which came into 1992, they have created an institution called Principle for Responsible Investing. In 2006, this particular investing principle has come, which has 4 principles which you have to follow. Again, they have 9 kind of steps which you need to follow. This is the basis of any ESG investing today. And here now there are more than 5,695 company which has signed under Principle for Responsible Investing. So this also initiative is a very critical initiative, which is called PRI 2006. Then comes, and this PRI 2006 is the below one, UN Principle for Responsible Investing. It has 6 principles in total, not 4. And it has 5,000, now 650 signatory altogether, including sustainable stock exchanges initiative, right? So they have also launched like Dow Jones indices for ESG. So these kind of stuff is a part of UN Principle for Responsible Investing. There was another framework which I just named, United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change, UNFCCC, Triple C. They host annual conference of party. Again, it came in 1992 along with UN EPFI. So these two bodies are hand in hand gone together, similar team members. So if you remember Conference of Party in GHG sessions, we have covered in detail COP3, which was one of the most important one, which happened in 1997, which created Kyoto Protocol and laid foundation for carbon credits. Of course, it failed. Why it failed, we have discussed in detail. But this is how they have created it to limit the reduction of GHG emission. That has been done by UNFCCC. Of course, COP21, which is very famous one. Anybody who knows the name of COP21? What was that agreement signed there?
It was Paris Agreement.
Paris Agreement.
Paris Agreement, yeah.
Absolutely, 2015, which led the commitment of people remaining below 1.5
The
degrees
temperature to
Celsius.
be within less than 2 degree, but now it is 2 degree, 1.5 से नीचे रखने का.
Correct. Less than 2 and not beyond 1.5. Correct. Absolutely correct. So pre-industrial levels. From there, that temperature should not rise. 2015 UN Sustainable Goal came, which has 17 principles. United Nations Millennial Goals are blueprint to address not only the climate issues, but all key global challenges by 2030. Now, this is a very aggressive target. We know we have only achieved 22% of the target by last year. So still 88% of the target is remaining and the year left is hardly 5. So it looks challenging. Let's see how it goes. Then in 2021, Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero has come, GFANG. Now GFANG is also became a critical investing arena, a framework. Now here 450 member by UN special envoy for climate action under COP26. COP26 happened in Glasgow, if you remember. There they have also agreed in the sideline that we are creating another financial alliance which will back the race to zero. So any company which will sign this document and they are financial companies, then they are into race to zero. So they will target zero emission by 2050. And here, non-state actors should have, at least they should do 50% of reduction in carbon intensity by 2030. India has done 45% by, they have given that. India has committed that. Means as a nation, as a country, not as an institution, that they will reduce their carbon intensity by 45% by 2030. So these are the list of those reporting initiative and other initiatives. So reporting initiatives are GRI, which we know, Global Reporting Initiative, VRF, which is another one. Now it's merged with SFRD or with the SASB, you can say. VRF was Value Reporting Foundation. EDF, ESG Disclosure Framework. ISSB, which was now it is merged with VRF, is International Sustainability Standard Board, which is a similar body like IFRS for accounting. And then there is a climate relative initiatives are also there. For example, TCFD is one, which is oldest one, Task Force for Climate Related Financial Disclosure. Again, this was launched by UNFCCC. CDP, which was formerly known as a Carbon Disclosure Project. Now they are known as CDP only. This is another climate related initiative, reporting initiative and rating initiative. And CDSB, Climate Disclosure Standard Board, is another board which also helps in reporting. And other initiatives which are also important, and we will see them in future. And that's why I have listed all of them here once for all, which is AIGCC, which is AIGCC, Asia Investor Group on Climate Change. So there is another body which is only limited to Asia. Then there is a Global Impact Investing Network, GIIN, we say. And then there is a very important one, which is GSIA. It is similar like, previous one, if you remember, GFANG. GSIA has a similar kind of alliance network. ICGN is another one, International Corporate Governance Network. So anybody who is related like Subodhji, this standard will help you in corporate governance side, right? So this standard helps financial institutions to be diligent about their corporate governance. And then the European Union also has, European Union SFDR or EU Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation is another one which is critical to understand. With that, we have come to end of our theory discussion. And now we will go into a case discussion. Now, this kind of stuff we will keep doing it every session. That is what I'm going to do. So there will be theory part which we will cover, and then we will try to see any relevant case study. Now, one case study I have already discussed with you guys was American airline company case study, if you remember.
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, now, yes.
Sorry, lost the discussion there. So what I was telling you, that case discussion, which is European cracks down on greenwashing, is another case which I thought I should discuss with you guys, and then explain you what is greenwashing. How many of you understand greenwashing?
You claim a benefit and it is actually not there.
Okay.
Like you had asked for, you have claimed that you have done so many reduction and in the carbon footprints, but it is actually not there, or it is at a lesser level.
Perfect. Okay.
Or
Good.
something giving misinformation regarding the ESG, or we can say GHG emissions
Correct.
or carbon footprint or what it is.
Wrong information, yes.
Yeah, misinformation or wrong information.
Okay. Bhaskar ji, what do you think?
No, I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, fair. Okay, so greenwashing is exactly what both of them has tried to set. One person has said that either misrepresenting or
Wrong information.
wrong information, and second person has said that you can be completely not doing what you are supposed to do, specifically on green initiatives, right? All mostly on carbon accounting, carbon footprinting side, where you claim and you have either less to that or you don't have even. Yeah, that was what Rajniji was trying to say. So now let me combine that all together. So the definition is very simple. Either you are misreporting, or you are reporting wrongly, or you are reporting less than what exactly you are reporting large, but you are actually doing less than in less than what initiative you are supposed to be done. For example, if you have decided that I have reduced carbon footprint by 200% and you have not even done 10%, and there was several cases across world, this has happened again and again. It's not happening by smaller or not known company, but rather with large companies. For example, Nike has been caught, Adidas has been caught, H&M has been caught, ExxonMobil, if you remember that company, that has been caught. Coca-Cola has been caught, right? So over a historical period of 30 years, several company has attempted to fool people by saying they are green conscious, they are climate conscious, they love climate and they produce oil, ExxonMobil, they love saving water and let people shift to cold drinks, Coca-Cola, right? And they wasted water, they were depleting the water sources, etc. So this has happened over a period of time. What I'm bringing today is European Union has cracked a whip on a consortium, several airlines altogether. Together, 60 airlines has been penalized. This has happened in last year. And I'm discussing in context of recent happening of American Airlines. So now America is also has picked up, and their Supreme Court has ordered all the people involved in specifically on investment side of American Airline Pension Fund, that if they were not able to meet the return targets, which they should be doing as a fiduciary duty. Another terminology, the fifth terminology for the day will be fiduciary duty. So all asset manager who takes money from you and say that I am investing on your behalf, in common layman language term, we call them relationship managers, right? You have a wealth relationship manager in your bank, correct? What he does, he calls you, says that, sir, आपने investment insurance में नहीं किया, इस साल आप करो, आपको रिटर्न मिलेगा, correct? He does that all the time. We receive such kind of calls. Those relation manager, if they are calling large pension funds, private equity funds, large company, and they say that give me some money and I will give you better return than what you are currently getting in your segment of interest, then that guy is called asset manager. Now that asset manager has a fiduciary duty to meet, even though there is no contractual term that he should give so much of return, because nobody prepare, nobody can guarantee, everybody knows that. You even don't ask your wealth manager कितना दोगे, नहीं पूछ लेते हो ना आप, पूछते भी हो तो बोलता है कि 16%, लिख के दो, कभी नहीं देगा. Have you seen that? Has that happened to anyone here sitting in this session? हुआ है क्या आप लोगों के साथ कभी ऐसा कि आप बोलते हो कि भाई लिख के दे दो कितना परसेंट रिटर्न दोगे और नहीं देता है?
वो कोई नहीं देता सर.
No, nobody will do this.
कोई नहीं
So
देता.
this paper which gets missed is a fiduciary duty, which was the case of American Airline Pension Fund versus BlackRock. And BlackRock is the same company which has withdrawn now after understanding they can't really meet their, their fiduciary duty to their investors. Yeah, they have stopped from contributing to green initiatives. So they had earlier sustainable labeled investments which they kept with them. Now they have understood they can't do that, and they have stopped being stop being participant to the green economy. This year they have announced that. So that's another negative news apart from Trump. Remember that for 2025. So now that brings to me my case, which is greenwashing. Now, greenwashing we have understood. Let's understand there are how many types of greenwashing are there. So a lot of people have come up with 9 number, a lot of people will come up with 2 number, 3 number, but actually there are 6 types of greenwashing which has been accepted, that anything happens in this area that will be counted as a greenwashing. For example, the first one is green crowding. So greenwashing is a umbrella term. Inside is a term called green crowding. Now, green crowding is built on the belief that you can hide in a crowd to avoid discovery. Right? So आप देखिए क्लास में 30 लोगों की क्लास होती है, आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा, बताइए क्या है, तो एक बच्चा मुंह चलाता है बस पीछे बैठ के. He just, हम लोग भी उसी में थे, बस मुंह चला देने का, okay. Yeah, because everybody is saying the answer, I am also there. Now that kid is known as green crowding kid. Yeah, he's not doing anything, he's not understanding what has been asked, but he's trying to be part of that horde or crowd. Loss is his. So my point is, this is the type of greenwashing where what that guy is doing, he's saying that I am also part of cement industry. All cement industry is becoming green. So I am also part of that greening industry. So I am transiting myself. For example, is NTPC. NTPC, by the way, there is a good news and a bad news. Good news about NTPC is that they have committed for installing new capacity of coal power plant. They were supposed to do something around 38 gigawatts and they only did 22 gigawatts. Now, what is good in this? Good in this is that according to the greening requirement, this is a good news. But bad news is that will not be able to meet the target of energy requirement of India, right? Because it has been planned that we have to have both coal as well as renewable. So point here is green crowding is clear. Any doubt on green crowding definition?
No.
Okay, so here the guy is trying to, all the industry participant is trying to hide between everybody else effort. So पूरी industry अब green cotton बना रही है, ये भी बोलेगा मैं part of the same team हूँ, लेकिन he will never be part of it. Right? Everybody is putting halal product. You must have seen बांग्लादेश से प्रोडक्ट आ रहे हैं, अब हलाल आ रहे हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि पाकिस्तान से दोस्ती हो गई दोनों की अब, तो वो हलाल प्रोडक्ट बनाना चालू कर रहे हैं और उनको शिप से नहीं अब एयरपोर्ट से भेजेंगे. सो दे आर स्टार्टिंग इवन एयरलाइन कनेक्शन. राइट नाउ दैट, और वो लोग बांग्लादेश लोग अब केवल हलाल वाला ही प्रोडक्ट खाएंगे, इंडिया प्रोडक्ट नहीं खाएंगे. All that which is happening right now is a kind of greenwashing. Not exactly in greenwashing term, but I'm just giving a parallel example. Clear? So this is called hoarding. अब उसमें भी कुछ लोग जेन्युइनली हलाल प्रोडक्ट कर रहे होंगे और कुछ बता रहे होंगे, राइट? क्योंकि हलाल का अपना रिक्वायरमेंट है। जैसे हमारा ग्रीनिंग का रिक्वायरमेंट है, GRI इज ए रिक्वायरमेंट, राइट? इट्स ए स्टैंडर्ड। हलाल ऑल्सो हैज ए स्टैंडर्ड दैट इवन यू जर्मिनेट, आप हार्वेस्टिंग करते हो, राइट? अगर आप हार्वेस्टिंग करते हो उसको भी हलाल होना चाहिए, तब जाके वो प्रोडक्ट हलाल बनता है, right? And you will see all product from Pakistan which is going to Bangladesh avoiding India is saying to be halal, which looks like a kind of halal washing. Here we are saying green crowding washing. Okay, so this is one type. It relies on safety numbers because there are humongous numbers being produced. You think I'm just part of the same number, right? Or you assume sometime that I am taking all my potatoes from Nasik or all my stuff from Nasik, which is a green city, or I'm
Onion.
taking all my stuff from Indore, which is a green city. I am a part of the green initiative, right? It is likely that that group will move at the speed of the slowest. And how? Why? Because this guy is not doing anything and saying that I'm part of the system. So the industry need to seek such kind of people and expose them so they also become the real green and the speed of that industry increases. How to avoid it, why companies should avoid, and how they should do such kind of avoidance is the company can avoid by this setting and pursuing individual sustainability goals. ओके, करना क्या होगा, आपको सेट करने होंगे सस्टेनेबिलिटी गोल्स एंड फोकस देयर rather than just being a part of a crowd or industry, and try to exceed industry norm rather than being lower than the industry in the initiative which you are taking. This is the way you can be leading rather than following. Then comes the green lighting. Now green lighting occurs, this is another type of greenwashing, where the company communicates spotlight, yeah, on a particular green feature in order to draw attention away from environmentally damaging activity. कोई आपके दिमाग में एग्जांपल आता है, ऐसा कोई एग्जांपल आता है?
Yes, Sumanji, like,
Please go ahead, Ramesh ji, and tell us
yeah,
any example.
yeah, I watched one greenwashing documentary in, I think, yeah, no, some OTT. It's a very good one. Like, it talks about the total energy, the gas pipeline project in Africa. But if you see there, like, their company ESG, all this, they are talking about how they have made, while they have made this gas pipeline project, other side, how they have made that livelihood beehives, natural beehives for the tribal community. That is the one they are showing to the public, how they are given to the tribe. But the actual thing, when there is a no investigation by the environmentalist goes there, what is the kind of impact for the people over there? No, it is clearly telling. It is entirely contradictory to what is they project and what is the kind of impact they do to the farmers over there. Like, it's a very good documentary which talks about total energy, how they do this. Like,
Awesome. Awesome. Good
and
example.
when they investigate, there was not actually, like, some beautiful photo of a tribe, showing the beehives, they are making of for the honey making and all. But actually, nothing is happening much, like, so kind of one. So I think, yeah, that one is green lighting.
Very good. Very good. Any other example, anyone? Very good, Ramesh ji.
आई थिंक मैकडोनल्ड हैज ऑल्सो डन पेपर स्ट्रॉ का केस था उसका, एक पेपर स्ट्रॉ के नाम पर बहुत हल्ला मचा था उसका, है ना? और वो
Right,
एंड
right.
में नॉन रिसाइक्लेबल, इट वाज नॉट रिसाइक्लेबल, इट वाज
Correct.
मेड ऑफ अ प्लास्टिक. सो
Correct.
लॉट ऑफ पब्लिसिटी वाज गिवन बट एक्चुअली इट वाज नॉट.
So they
दैट वाज
lighted
एक्चुअली ग्रीन
that.
वॉशिंग बट टाइप ऑफ
No,
कि भी
it's a
आप.
green lighting. They spotlighted their straw being paper manufacturer, or they spotlighted their community development program of Total, where they were installing beehives, but under the carpet, they were doing completely nastiest stuff, right? So that is the point here. And that is called green lighting, where your focus is somewhere, but your resultant is totally devastating to the environment. Yeah, anybody else? Okay, so how to prevent this? How to avoid such kind of situation? And what you need to do as a company is to avoid it. As an investor, you need to identify it. What this company is trying to do, you need to check in these parameters. right? I have already shared with you, all of you, Excel sheet combining this permutation combination. Very simple 6-pointer Excel sheet where you can just answer those queries and automatically it will tell you that whether it is green, this company is greenwashing with this initiative or not. Okay. So how to avoid it? To prevent this, company need to align their overall business practice, not only one practice and highlight into your green GRI report, right? That I am doing this initiative, but make sure that all your practices are eco-friendly, ensuring that they claims genuinely reflect their commitment to sustainability. One more thing, just to not give a wrong picture to other listeners, whoever is going to listen to this video, what Ramesh ji was trying to tell you is related to social aspect of their business. Our greenwashing limits itself sometime, not in pragmatic view, to only related to carbon footprint. Okay, carbon footprint or related to that stuff, or like water, energy,
That too not social part. It is related to the technical or industrial part, means business part.
Correct. Absolutely. So that should be, you should be careful there. Okay. Then comes the green shifting. Now, green shifting happens when a company implies that consumer is at fault and shift the blame to them. Okay. Rather, they becoming the blame. For example, if I am filling in, best example is milk one. You remember, how many of you remember milk packets, corner cutting, right?
Yeah, you mentioned in GSG.
Yes,
ESG में
they are telling that this is consumer habit, which is wrong. They are cutting that corner. Rather than they should bring a bottle. And a lot of company has done that in past. Historically, Miss, I used to talk to my father and he used to tell us that in engineering days, bottle used to come, right? And you open it.
Glass bottle.
No, I've seen glass bottles. Delhi
Glass
milk.
bottle, that's what. Now that has, that has become a costly aspect. Of course, it is not green, but it is reusable. The advantage
It's
what?
But then
reusable.
the rate, that time the rate, transportation cost is on both the sides, no? While
Correct.
receiving and while returning. So that's why they wanted to. Secondly, when you return it, they will wash it, those bottles, and again seal it and those things.
The
So those
cost was
costs are higher
increased.
than the
Cost
cost
was the
of the
reason.
plastic packaging material is cheaper than much cheaper
Alternative.
than that.
Yeah,
Most
but the problem
economic.
with plastic is that now people have realized that fact that plastic bottles has a carbon footprint. Are you with me? The
Yes.
plastic carbon footprint versus refilling, cleaning, and doing, Coca-Cola has seen this advantage, and they are running massive refilling plants all across world now, specifically in Spain, in India. They have the largest refilling plant where they clean, make sure everything happens. Why so Coca-Cola has not stopped doing the bottle? First of all, you get attachment to that brand. Bottle has a shape, right? Shape you feel. That is, of course, I'm not going to lectures of behavior science and branding, but I'm just telling you this is a kind of experience which you develop. So there are advantages which are intangible and there are advantages which are tangible. Here in green shifting, the major effect is that they want to shift the blame to consumer. That मेरा गलती थोड़ी है, वो consumer फेंक रहा है bottle लैंडफिल में, मैं नहीं फेंक रहा हूँ. तो if you are not आप नहीं अगर थ्रो कर रहे
कोका
हो,
कोला कलेक्ट भी तो नहीं करता सर.
that's the point. Who is putting that plastic bottle in first place? You don't put in plastic, you put it in glass. Done, no? Then you go and collect that glass, which Subodhji is saying. Of course, there will be cost to you. That's why you are not doing it, right? But don't tell that.
But to reduce that cost, what they were doing, they were collecting the bottle of the previous day, milk bottle. When you
Correct.
return,
While going
so
for
giving
it was
the discount,
complete.
they will get taking back the previous day bottle, empty bottles.
It was completely organic. You need not to send twice. It was completely organic. Same truck which comes to offload, same truck will load.
Load
Right?
empty bottles.
So this is
Only thing that they will use
facade.
when they give delivery to
Convenience.
different places, 90% only they are filling the truck, so that 10% is occupied for
But the
taking
Daily
back.
Milk scheme was running into heavy losses because of this kind of a practice. पहले दूध आता था छोड़ने, फिर आता था खाली bottles लेने.
नहीं
Yeah,
नहीं
but
एक
that
ही
was
कर
stopped.
सकते हैं ना.
That was stopped long back, and they were collecting both same time.
अब तो सेम कर सकते हैं ना.
Yeah,
आपने
नहीं तभी
time
नहीं करते थे
रखा
सर.
ना.
कर सकते.
Delivering and collecting the empty bottle, both.
Only it's a manpower intensive, which has
And
created
secondly, breakage of glass bottles. That was a big
unbreakage,
issue.
but that will be there. Plastic में कम breakage है. Load करने unload करने में 10 bottle means plastic, it's a plastic.
Yes.
It will break. So same thing goes to the glass, but of course glass may be having 5% extra than the what plastic breakages are. But point here is not that. Point here is instead of that company taking responsibility of that harm to the nature, they are blaming it somebody else, that I am not a culprit, I am very green guy, my consumers are very bad.
Yes, the consumer wants fresh bottles only. They don't want recycled bottles. They
That is
don't want
called
washed
green.
bottles.
That is called green shifting. Okay, the company which positively impact the environment by owning their own sustainability and actively offering consumer environmental friendly options, fostering a culture of shared responsibility and proactive change, is the company which can avoid green shifting. Otherwise, you will part of green shifting. Then comes the green labeling. There are another breed of greenwashing where what they do.
There are some cases in food items. I think that the pack itself gets dissolved in that, like in juice and that. So there's no wastage, no packing material wastage, zero wastage.
They have brought a plastic plastic bags, which are of that kind nowadays, right?
Not plastic, actually, it is a eatable material only.
It is they say it is a plastic replacement, and it looks like a plastic bag.
Looks like a plastic,
but
but
it dissolves.
Get dissolved in this, and you can eat it there.
Correct.
And there's no zero
plates
wastage.
which have been developed, eatable plates and spoons has been developed. But point here is green labeling are those
Like cone, like ice cream cone.
Ice cream cone, absolutely. It tastes like similarly. But problem is green labeling is another breed. What people have, if you have observed, right, most of the product cover has been made green to just make sure it is an organic product. How many of you have observed you in the malls nowadays? Lot of products which are organic will have some kind of greening on their packaging.
इसका कवर ग्रीन होता है ना टॉप.
This is a new trend.
पौधा बना होता है एक वन
Yes.
प्लांट इज देयर. कल में प्लांट होता है.
But there is nothing plant about. For example, if you have seen sugar, jaggery, now they are saying refined, there is not refined sugar, they will say brown sugar, right? Brown sugar. Packet will be brown. Are boss, it is the same sugar, less refined. Or are you putting something organic there? Is it jaggery? No, it is definitely not jaggery, right? You clean, but you don't clean 5%, you clean 2%. That's what you do. The reagents used are little lesser. It is a little less harmful, but it has, if you want to reach the taste of normal sugar, you have to mix more, right? So the technology advancement is going on, which will make that gap reducing, where the test will be same. Means just imagine a scenario, you go to a space and you take a pill and you feel that your stomach is full. How it happens? Through technology. Same thing, they can bring it in sugar and make it literally jaggery, right? At that scale also, you will get the same test. What is otherwise the difference between jaggery and sugar? Both have the same fructose, which has been melted and changed the form. Of course, engineer will talk much better, and the fructose companies. But fructose is means the level is same. The only thing is when you refine it more, the test becomes faster. It gives the immediate effect. Now, I'm not going there. Let's not go there. What I'm trying to limit myself is green labeling. So people are nowadays putting green bottles, green color to show that is a green product when they do not have anything about green. For example, how many of you are aware about Baba Ramdev being lamented by Supreme Court of India for his advertisement, right? Where he used to claim that my coronal, etc., has been effective as
Yes, recently has been penalized on that.
Penalized on that. Now, he was not doing green labeling, but it's a kind of green labeling kind of stuff where you have not tested enough or scientifically tested enough to prove in court, especially now it is in public domain. So I'm talking about it. However, I have seen a lot of people saving their life because of the perception value, right? But this is what the large pharma company are fighting with. They are saying it's a placebo effect. Placebo effect anyway will be there 25% of the cases. So my point here is such kind of labels will be always challenged, not today, but after 5 years down the line. This has happened with Adidas, the famous case of Adidas, where they said that they are having 100% recyclable shoes. right? Where their sole and the laces were definitely not recyclable, right? And they were stuck with that case. It's a very famous case of Adidas have a watch where they have said 62%. Then they improved themselves. They said 62% recyclable shoes. And they were pricing exponentially, huh? So it was not cheaper shoes. So the green labeling has advantage to company. That's why people do it. So green labeling is something where marketeer comes in play. And these marketing guys are literally tricky, right? They really want to show faster sales. So they call something green sustainable, but they are, when you closely examine it, it reveals that to all those bullshit, all those words are bullshit, right? There is no holding water. Like Rajni was saying, right? They are less than what they are claiming. Exactly, that is green leveling. Okay. How to avoid it? Companies should ensure their products are genuinely meet the standard which you are referring to, or which the claims which you are saying can be established by third party. Always look for a credible independent certificate for such kind of claims, right? In US, there are US standard for sustainable product. In India, you have Indian standard, etc. Green rinsing is another type of greenwashing, where you refer when a company regularly changes its ESG target before they are achieved. For example, they will say that I want to become net zero by 2030, then 2026. How many of you remember Aramco case? Aramco case.
Yes, yes, they changed style of reporting itself, no, sir, because to hide
Which,
something.
which
They
it
changed
rightfully
their structure.
correct. They said that last year they were GRI compliant. This year they
No.
were not. So that is a kind of green rinsing, right? A kind of course, it is exact green rinsing is when you change the target itself. You say that no, 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 I cannot go net zero to 2050. I want to go to 2070 now. Are you with me? So that kind of every year, if you change it, it's called grain rinsing. Companies should set realistic goals which are achievable, sustainability goals which commit to them, and providing transparent progress update. This is what is required for green rinsing. And last is green hushing. Now, green hushing refers to the act of corporate management team which is under reporting or hiding their sustainability credentials in order to evade investor security, where investors are literally critical about their operations. And these guys, especially the management of companies or team, under reports or hide their sustainability credential, then it becomes green hushing, right? So instead of reporting that negative news, you remember negative news is a fundamental for a credible sustainability report. If you remember our GRI lessons, right? Here also is the same thing. If you are under reporting or not reporting the negative news is called green hushing. Company, how they can avoid? They can avoid by they should openly share their environment performance, both successes and the areas of improvement to build trust and credibility. Now that brings to a statistics. Now this is a massively looks like few people might be doing, right? That's the imagination we might be having, that only few people are having such kind of activity. But in reality, greenwashing nearly 60% of sustainability, 60%. Okay. And this is third party data. 60% of sustainability claim by fashion brand, most of the fashion brand, including H&M, including Zara,
HMN का तो केस है एक
60%. Then 15 out of 24 multinational company considered climate leaders have climate strategy that were evaluated by low or very low integrity. There was no integrity of 15 out of 24, which are counted as a climate leader, right? ExxonMobil, People Horizon, you must have seen them. Green, green, they will talk about green all the time. But when you will check their integrity of reporting is low or very low. In 2023, greenwashing cases jumped by 70% because everybody got aware. A lot of consumers started preferring green over the other product. Whole self was made green, organic, right? After Corona, we were literally learning something new. We learned green and organic is good stuff to follow in life. Whole banking and financial services has gone green without they were introducing any green product. They wanted to go and invest in green product. रिन्यूएबल में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे और करते कहां थे? फ्रॉडरी कंपनी में, फॉर्जरी कंपनी में. overall cases, the have increased by 70% and overall 35% increase has happened. 70% तो केवल banking sector में हुआ था कि मैं green हूँ. I will invest only in green, and they could not invest in green. And 2024 mein now 2025 coming 2025 BlackRock has withdrawn from green initiatives, right? So these are the challenges of greenwashing, and it looks like it is a distant stuff. Only few people are doing, but in reality, even if you search for sustainable brands, now you will find every nook and corner is saying I am a sustainable. Only earlier, Patagonia was the only company which was known in fashion that they were sustainable. Now you find, just search sustainable fashion. You will find thousands of company getting listed for you. In last 5 years, 400% increase has been recorded. But 42% of those companies, their credentials are either exaggerated, false, or deceptive. Out of this 400% increase, which you are saying, say 400 more company have come. Out of that, 42% with 60, still 68% looks like a good number. 58% looks like a good number.
But
58%.
government cannot take any action if
They are bringing
greenwashing.
all countries. European Union has already brought in. That's why they have put that European case. We will just see. We will see that. There a government is taking action. We will see that in the case study. Okay. And greenwashing takes attention away from the real environmental threats, because actually people are fooling. When people fool, that is bigger crime than actual crime which is happening on the road. For example, if there is a theft sitting on a corner of a road, right? And one person has gone and his pocket has been stolen. What he does, he comes back and says, nothing, please go. That is more bigger crime, right? He's pushing you down the well, saying that go. There is a very huge, a very famous case of lemmings. How many of you have heard about National Geographic coverage of 1980s? Have you heard about lemmings? Lemmings, the herd of lemmings which died by suicide, and this was recorded on a National Geographic camera. There was a episode which was recorded by
whales. I saw whales. 65 of them, they committed suicide. It's somewhere in the world.
Whales
even now, I saw recently something. Few dolphins came on the shore, and 60 or 70 of them have died.
True. So, by the way, animal have this instinct, right? So they decide and they do such kind of stuff like human. So specifically fish. Fish is very closer by brain, and that's why we say we should eat. Whoever are non-vegetarian, they say that eat fish. It increases omega-3 and it increases your brain. Why? Because fish has that kind of quality, and they have a brain which is really. Miss, you see dolphins. Miss, I sometimes get mesmerized by seeing dolphin action. Miss, it looks like they understand every emotion of yours. Right? Very rare for an animal to understand. Or a dog, if you are a pet lover, you know how dog relates with you. If you are sad, it will get sad. If you are happy, it will be happy, definitely. It will push you around. So that kind of stuff is there. What I'm trying to tell you here is that lemming, one lemming going and falling over the cliff. Of course, the previous next to that was not knowing. He was thinking that he's going to heaven, right? And all of them followed, and thousand lemmings has fallen off that cliff, which was recorded on National Geographic. Just search on YouTube, you will find that video. Point here is that this was a bigger crime, right? The guy who was on the front, he should have at least shouted, did some action that the guy who's coming next to it could have been saved. That's why greenwashing is a bigger crime than the actual green culprits, okay, who are not taking any action. Are you with me? Who are taking action and giving you wrong direction, those are bad people, including Coca-Cola. Let's accept that as a fact, shame them, name them, and make them famous. And that brings to me to the last, of course, to the case, which I am supposed to discuss in next 10 minutes, is European Union cracking the whip down the airline greenwashing. In the landmark move by the European Commission recently has penalized, 20 airline in total, 20 airlines of Europe who were allegedly greenwashing practices were deployed. Yeah, this was done under their National Consumer Protection Authority initiative, And this investigation, they did a 1 year of full investigation, taken the action in 2024. It underscored that the growing concern over companies like, those large companies, even Lufthansa Air, etc., which people trust as a brand, were either making false or exaggerated statements about their environmental impact. EU commitment to ensuring transparent, scientifically backed communication with consumer has brought this case in limelight. Okay, and when European Union did, we saw that now even Supreme Court of US is going to the extent where they are catching people who had a fiduciary duty. Forget about greenwashing, even the fiduciary duty is getting caught. How the case came into light, this European Union 20 airline, which has been caught. The investigation into airlines greenwashing practices was a collaborative effort involving the European Commission and Consumer Protection Watchdog of Belgium, along with Netherlands, Norway, and Spain. So it was a country-wide, people came together and tried to investigate into this matter. These authorities worked together to identify airlines, specifically those which made misleading statement. Like if you have traveled in business class, you must be seeing they give you comb and they give you, what is called that eye mask, etc. Right? They give you all that with socks and all. Yeah, they used to do the packaging with a paper. Now they used to say that is 100% recyclable, and they never assured the supply chain who were supplying those stuff. And people realized that all of it was a recycled plastic, right? And it was more harmful than the actual virgin plastic, right? So that was one area. Then paper was also not being purely plastic because they were not able to collect so much of paper. So while the name of airlines have not been disclosed here, but I have just taken one name, we need to omit that. The case has already sent a shockwave to aviation industry and all aviation industry which were claiming that we are saving so much of electricity, water, in their operation or the fuel in their operation because they are using 737 airlines or Max Airlines, etc. It also highlighted that now if country government body determined to take a greenwash hand on, it can take a lot because a lot of other airline by just learning this lesson who are flying to Europe have adjusted their statements, right? They were saying that don't get the paper ticket, take the, bring it with the scanner code. But they ignored the fact that a scanner code required a more data processing and energy consumption than that paper printed ticket. Are you with me? That comparison was missing. So these kind of statement they have found out. So what was the key issues where they have identified? The first one, emission offset and sustainable fuel. This claim was EU authority has established that this was false claim, right? Regarding the offsetting of carbon dioxide emission of the flight through climate projects, which they were undertaking, saying that those were clean and they are buying a real carbon credit. Yeah, they had no substantiated scientific evidence behind it. Clear? So they were claiming to their consumer that I have a sustainable fuel and I'm also having offsets which are really clean, but there was no enough scientific evidence like SBTI, etc. Transparent environment communication. EU Commissioner for Values and Transparency, Vera Jourova, stressed this particular point, that importance of providing consumer with accurate information. Like if we want responsible consumer, we need to provide them with accurate information. Just don't tell them that don't throw, don't use water in the toilets. In Europe, by the way, it's a culture, right? They do not use water in the toilets. Now, rather than telling that to your consumer, tell them how not to use it. Okay? So if you will give both the functions there, tissue paper as well as water, they will use water. Clear? Or it will get dirty. So that decisions need to be scientifically answered rather than just you are claiming and counting that look, I have educated my consumer so much, so I have saved so much of carbon. You remember scope 3 discussions? scope 3 discussion that by creating consumer, you can mitigate scope 3 emission. That plastic bottle को आप landfill में ना फेंक के, you give it back to, recyclers. You can do that awareness, but how you have accounted that, that is also your responsibility. That's what European Union has done. And the last one was compliance with European standard. European has its own standard. They have given 30-day window to all these 20 people. If they will not meet, they have been penalized. Yeah. And KLM has a precedent here. EU action against 20 airline comes to the heel landmark of, there was another Dutch court which was against, given another ruling on KLM Royal Dutch Airline in March 2024. So European Union has taken a decision, and there was a precedence to that as well, where the KLM Royal Dutch Airline was penalized as well, where the court has found out that KLM had misled their consumer. So it was not Lufthansa, it was actually KLM, sorry. So customer with an advertising campaign designed to enhance company environmental image. So they have done a lot of image, washing. Tell me which greenwashing is happening here. KLM did which greenwashing?
I think green lighting.
Anybody else want to give a try? I will read the case again. Listen to me very carefully. The code found out KLM has misled customer with an advertisement
green shifting. Consumer तो fault पे नहीं है.
Green ashing.
Sorry?
Green ashing?
Green rinsing. Always remember, whenever advertisement is the culprit, there are only two things: green labeling, where advertisement is doing this guy, marketeers are doing the stuff, right? Or not green rinsing, green shifting, somebody said, right? No.
Hushing, she said.
Green ashing, I said.
Green hushing. Green hushing is also wrong. And the reason is, look, KLM here is very clear. KLM being misleading the customer. It was nothing to do with their management is putting a narrative. Green hushing में क्या है? To act corporate management team under report करना है, right? Under report. Management under report करती है, hiding their sustainability credential. Correct? यहाँ पे वो नहीं है. इन्होंने बोला, they are saying that KLM has misled their customer by advertising campaigns designed to enhance company environmental image. I am very clean company. I am only meeting this much. These kind of statements were made. When I say like that, I am doing a green labeling because the marketeers are at play, right? Adidas का case याद रखिएगा. So that is why the ruling set a precedent for airline regarding permissible scope of their public statement and effort to reduce greenhouse gas emission. Any effort which you say in the public domain that I am taking such and such effort, and actually you are not taking, don't say it. Don't tell them, right? You can't control, jet fuel uses in your airline, right? Just by doing tweaking that, look, the load factor से आप decide कर सकते हो. Okay, per person, how much oil, how much jet fuel is used is based on the load factor. So you play with the load factor and you will show that I am per person, I am using only this much fuel. For example, 100 सीट का एक एयरलाइन है, right? If उसमें 20 लोग बैठ के उड़ रहे हैं, पेट्रोल तो उतनी लगनी है ना, थोड़ी कम लग जाएगी, मतलब 10% लेस लग जाएगी, 20% लेस लग जाएगी, लेकिन 80% लेस लगेगी. ऐसा होगा क्या? आप कार चलाते हैं, राइट? अगर मेरे को
It's not possible. No, it's not possible.
It's not possible. 20%, 30%, there is a some kind of delta which happens when based on the loading. But the massive change cannot happen. But when I will go to reporting, what will I do? I will take a SpiceJet ka airline and I will take Indigo ka airline. I will say SpiceJet per person carbon dioxide emission is 30 tons. And I will say Indigo per person is 50 ton. What I am ignoring here? Load factor. Indigo airline has 100% load factor, right? They are full, then only they will fly. A SpiceJet, nobody is sitting on that airline, only 20 people are flying. So that company will be emitting same amount, right? So that is called green labeling का problem. Correct? कि हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कुछ, लेकिन कर रहे हैं कुछ। तो रिमेंबर दैट कि लोड की वजह से ये लोग प्ले कर रहे थे कि आई एम मोर कार्बन फ्रेंडली, बट प्रॉब्लम वाज दैट इज नॉट कार्बन फ्रेंडली. That is only thing is they have a full flight. That's why they are looks like a carbon friendly compared to this guy, or this guy is trying to claim the same.
So in the tourism industry, there is a concept of a greener flights, right?
Correct.
And people are claiming benefit out of it. Like you said the example of this Lufthansa. वो भी
Correct.
अपना greener flights का concept करती है, and people in abroad are opting for the greener flights.
Correct.
They claim to be generating lesser footprints.
That is what I'm saying. They are doing that less carbon footprint per person basis. Why? Because they are ignoring the load factor. Simple रखते हैं ना इसको. Let's not.
सर ये जो claims है ये सब false claims हैं क्या?
इसीलिए तो पकड़ेगा ना ये, क्योंकि ये क्या कर रहे हैं, देखिए इनके
KLM का
हिसाब
एक
से
केस है ना, आप कह रहे 20 एयरलाइंस पकड़े गए, तो इट मींस मेनी ऑफ देम हैव बीन कॉट.
Yeah, because everybody was playing with that. This was a market norm, industry norm बन गया था ना. Look how industry norm becomes. That one guy did it. Okay, he is doing. I will do it. What he is doing that. इसने just I'm just trying to explain the theory, little complex, but let me make it very simple, apple to apple. Airline, Pune to Bangalore. Say Pune to Bangalore, airline is traveling, which is SpiceJet airline, with 20 people. How much oil it will require? It requires 100 liters of jet fuel. Just assume that. Another flight, which is Indigo flight, that is also going Pune to Bangalore. It requires 120 liters, right? Now, this 100 liter, but only 20 people are traveling. कितना आएगा per person?
5 liter.
5 liter. Absolutely. यहाँ पे 120 liter this guy has taken, but 100 people have traveled. Per person.
1.2 liter.
1.2.
Now tell me which one is greener?
दिस वन जहां लोड फैक्टर ज्यादा है.
लोड फैक्टर ज्यादा है, बट इज इट अ रियलिटी?
नो.
कंज्यूम तो उसने भी किया ना 120, उसने 120 किया, मैं तो कम से कम 100 कर रहा हूं. बट वो क्या किया, वो पर
और
पर्सन रिपोर्ट कर दिया.
डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू. अच्छा ओके.
उसने पर पर्सन रिपोर्ट किया ना, उसने पूरा एयरलाइन का रिपोर्ट ही नहीं
पैरामीटर
किया.
अपना ऐसा अपनी कन्वीनियंस के हिसाब से चुन
अरे
लो.
कंपनी वाइड तो 120 किया ना आपने. बट
यस
वो
यस.
एडवर्टाइजमेंट जाके बोलता है कि मैं तो 1.2 ही करता हूं, और जबकि सारी इंडस्ट्री 5 कर रही है, ऐसा वो बोल रहा है. आप समझो इम्पैक्ट कहाँ है, एडवर्टाइजमेंट का गेम है ये. वो
तो
अगर
सर ये
रिपोर्ट करता है,
केएलएम वाला कौन सा हुआ फिर, ये कौन सी वॉशिंग है?
यही केएलएम का एग्जैक्टली यही केस है. मतलब एग्जैक्टली यही नहीं है, मतलब सिमिलर है.
कौन
जस्ट
सी वॉशिंग हुई है फिर? ग्रीन
सॉरी,
वॉशिंग कौन सी? Which type of a washing in the greenwashing KLM is doing?
लेबलिंग. इट्स अ ग्रीन लेबलिंग.
Labeling.
इट्स अ लेबलिंग.
Because it's misleading.
मिसलीडिंग है ना,
Misleading the
प्रॉपर मिसलीडिंग है.
consumer.
क्यों? क्योंकि वो एक आइटम उसमें का लेके आपको बता रहा है, रियल तो एफर्ट बताया ही नहीं. पूरे साल में तो 120 होगा ना, 120 लीटर उसने कंज्यूम किया ना, तो 120 लीटर का मल्टीप्लाई बाय टन्स ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इक्वल टू योर कैलकुलेशन. करेक्ट. द फैक्टर आप मल्टीप्लाई करोगे और आपको कार्बन फुटप्रिंट मिलेगा.
बट वो
इसको
सर
करना
कार्बन
चाहिए.
CO2 इक्विवेलेंट प्लस नंबर ऑफ पीपल एंड टर्नओवर, तो तीनों कंपेयर करते हैं नॉर्मली.
वो क्या किया उसने, आपको रिपोर्ट जब करने को आया तो न्यूज़पेपर में क्या डाला? My flight has a carbon footprint per capita 1.2 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent because of the fuel has the same number. Just assume that. Factor is same. Okay. However, my industry is at 5. अरे वो तो कैलकुलेट ही नहीं करना था, वो नॉर्म ही गलत है. अब क्यों रिपोर्ट कर रहा है 1.2? आप बताओ ना मुझे कि 120 आपने किया. Are you with me? Am I clear here? Very clear, right? Or is
Yeah.
it still confusion?
Because it directly counts how much CO2 emission is there. CO2
Yeah,
equivalent
that is
emission.
the norm. What you are
Norm.
doing, you are playing in the newspaper. You are
Per
saying,
kilometer or something. Per kilometer or something,
Is,
not per
sir,
person.
he's actually saying कि I am carrying, he's more persons, so I am. I
I am
claim
more
per
carbon.
person I have been able to reduce my
Correct.
carbon footprint.
अब ये आप बोलो
ये
ये
कह रहा
ग्रीनर
है.
ही हुआ ना. अब मैं कंज्यूमर हूं, आप रजनी जी आप ट्रैवल कर रहे हो केएलएम से, तो यू विल से आई एम कंज्यूमर. विच फ्लाइट इज ग्रीनर पर कैपिटा वाइज? दिस फ्लाइट इज ग्रीनर
टूरिज्म
केएलएम.
इंडस्ट्री ना इन सबसे भरी हुई है इन लोगों से.
और देख रहे हो क्या गेम किया उसने. उसने अपना
So
पूरा
जब तक
बताया.
when he carries more than 25 people, then he will be always less than those 20 people because 120 versus 20. So 20 and 25. So to anything above 25 people will be always lower than the other people.
और
करेक्ट.
उसमें फॉसिल फ्यूल के
अब क्या हुआ
125
ना, अब
वो
ये
तो ज्यादा.
हॉर्लिक्स और कॉम्प्लान वाला केस हो गया. अब हॉर्लिक्स ने बोल दिया तो अब कॉम्प्लान भी वही बोलने लगा कि भाई आपको इतनी जरूरत थी कैलोरी की पूरे दिन में, मैंने आपको 2 सेकंड में दे दिया है पिला के। अब वो कॉम्प्लान ने बोला तो बॉर्नविटा बोल रहा है, बॉर्नविटा ने बोला, हॉर्लिक्स बोल रहा है, हॉर्लिक्स बोला, सब बोल रहे हैं, अब इंडस्ट्री बोल रही है। तो यूरोपियन ने सबको पकड़ा, एक ही साथ रपेट दिया ईयू ने। आफ्टर सीइंग द केएलएम केस दे डिसाइडेड लेट मी कैच ऑल ऑफ देम एंड रिप्रामेंड इट, क्योंकि वो स्टॉप नहीं कर रहे थे। इसने इसको तो कोर्ट से ऑर्डर मिल गया तो ये चुप बैठ गया केएलएम, और सब चालू थे कि भाई मेरा कम है तो मेरा कम है, सबका अपना अपना लोड फैक्टर के हिसाब से बात कर रहे थे, राइट? So this is the case which was very interesting. I thought I should discuss with you guys. And broader context is was this, that increased regulatory scrutiny will stop such kind of fooling statements. Undermining sustainability efforts, which is happening because of greenwashing, will stop. And shaping future discourse, EU has set a good landmark stuff, and that's why Supreme Court of US was able to take such kind of harsh action against a company which runs country like BlackRock. Thank you very much for being a patient listener.
But sir,
Remember that digital
this
challenges are
Indigo is always lower because they don't waste time and they are ready before time, departure time. They take passenger inside, they are ready before time and they reach in time. So overall fuel consumption is lower.
of course they will be lower because they do not switch on the AC till the time you are sitting in it, and they will keep you wait for 40 minutes. आप देखते हो उसका पहले ही चालू कर देता है. You
Yes,
compare Indian airline versus that guy. Indian airline, you are sitting in lounge, they will allow you. This guy will not allow. First of all, they bring their airlines at very limited time. वो वहां पे रुकती नहीं है. वो
तो चेंज ओवर टाइम 40-45 मिनट ही रहता है. आया
That's
साफ
the
किया
game.
और बैठा दिया, सब मिल के 40 to 45 मिनट एंड दे जस्ट क्लोज द डोर.
Absolutely. They bring their line. जितना देर रुका उतना ही देर उसका फिक्स है. और दूसरा उसने बहुत अच्छा गेम, why they are so successful, they played the game of industry. What was that game? That earlier game was कि आपका जो टाइम है एग्जैक्ट टाइम बताओ. और by the way, if you are going towards the wind and you are coming against the wind, there is a different speed.
Yes.
And if you want to a different timing, but if you want to make the same speed, you have to increase the speed, right? अगर टाइम सेम लेना है तो इंक्रीज द स्पीड करना होगा. जो अगर हम लोगों ने तो फॉरेन ट्रैवल किया है तो हमें मालूम है कि जाने का एक अलग टाइम होता है, आने का अलग टाइम होता है, राइट? 3 घंटा
Yes,
जाने में
yes.
लगा तो आने में 3.5 लगता है. ये लोग
Yes,
क्या
yes.
किए कि वो आने वाला टाइम जो था, जो लार्जर पीरियड था, उसी को बेसिस बना के गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया डीजीसीआई को दे दिए. And that they have played so well, everybody tried to mimic now, but it was too late for other people to capture it. उनको स्लॉट ही नहीं मिला. ये बंदा ने सारे स्लॉट खरीद लिए विथ दैट एक्सेसिव टाइम पीरियड. तो हुआ क्या, इनको पेनाल्टी 0 लगती है कि कितना देर भी एयरपोर्ट पे बैठे रह सकते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि टाइम से पहले आते हैं, हमेशा टाइमली मैच करते हैं. तो अनदर ग्रीन
नहीं
वॉश.
उसको लैंडिंग भी पहले मिल जाता है बिकॉज दे आर ऑन टाइम लाइक दैट.
अरे टाइम से पहले है तो उनको तो मिलना ही
Yes.
मिलना है. एंड दे
They
हैव
have been able to, 50-55% of the industry they are running in India.
currently they have absolutely they have a big
55%.
market share.
Rahul Bhatia has become multi-millionaire. केवल एक ही एरिया इंडस्ट्री है जो
जबरदस्त का बिजनेस बना दिया.
जबरदस्त बिजनेस कर रही है.
जबरदस्त at the expense of few lames. Yeah, there's lemmings who are who went
Committing
behind
suicide.
स्पाइस जेट. हर एक टाइम पे उसके सपोर्ट के लिए एक एयरलाइन बैंकरप्सी को गई है. गो एयर, स्पाइस जेट, इंडियन एयर इंडिया, ऑल दिस वेयर द फॉल आउट ऑफ दिस गाय. बोले कोई नहीं बोले अलग बात है.
सहारा, किंगफिशर सब.
अरे सबको खा गए.
इंडिगो
सहारा से
सबसे
स्टार्ट
आया
हुआ,
है.
सहारा से स्टार्ट हुआ.
मतलब लोग बोलेगा नहीं बिकॉज इट्स अ बिग बिग कॉर्पोरेट का झगड़ा है, इसमें कौन घुसेगा. लेकिन पॉइंट ये है कि आप देखोगे ना, हिस्ट्री देखोगे, किंगफिशर ने डेक्कन को खाया, डेक्कन खत्म हो गया, कैप्टन गोपीनाथ बाहर हो गए, राइट? वंस ही सेटल्ड फॉर अ नॉन कमर्शियल एयरलाइन, उन्होंने अपना एयरलाइन चालू किया रखा था सेम डेक्कन के नाम से, कमर्शियल था, अभी भी चलता है, उनके हेलीकॉप्टर्स वगैरह हैं. पॉइंट ये है कि वो बाहर हो गए, किंगफिशर आए. किंगफिशर तो ऐसे भी वो दूसरे ही लाइन पे थे तो वो खत्म हो गए.
सहारा को लिया ना उसने, किंगफिशर लाइट करके.
सहारा ले लिया, वो तो कुछ भी लेने को तैयार थे ना, उनके पास पैसा अपना तो था नहीं. यॉट पे लेके जाइए एसबीआई के चीफ को, जितना पैसा लेना है ले लीजिए, राइट? दैट्स द बिजनेस दे वर इन. सो दे मेड अ गुड बिजनेस.
भाग जाइए.
वो तीनों सेटल्ड हो गए. फिर जेट वाले को सबने मिलके खा लिया, राइट? जेट चले गए अपने, वो भी कैंसर से पीड़ित हो गए. वहां पे आया इंडिगो एयरलाइन. In this transition period, Indigo entered.
And still existing since long.
Of course, it existed. उसका 18 year वो लोग celebrate कर रहे हैं. They existed, but they were very small. Nobody even knew them.
Their selling strategy is also better
तो
because they
4
were the
साल तो
first
अंडर
one.
कवर रहे.
Low cost airline को उन्होंने GDS में मर्ज नहीं होने दिया.
4 साल वो लोग अंडर कवर रहे थे. If you know the history, till the time they got the international license, और वो जब beneficial route उनके लिए open हुआ GCC वगैरह, then they really gone big. कैश आने लगा. कैश आया, वो लोगों ने पहला काम किया, सारे स्लॉट खरीदे, क्योंकि एक्सपीरियंस तब तक हो गया था कि टाइम से चलने का बेनिफिट ये है, एक्स्ट्रा टाइम मांग लेने का बेनिफिट ये है. आप देखो उनकी 99% जो नॉन इम्पॉर्टेंट रूट्स हैं, तो जो क्या बोलते हैं उसको हम लोग, क्रिटिकल रूट्स, जैसे कि जो जोड़ता है हम लोग का एविएशन का एक
Indian
नाम है
route इसको
इंडिया में,
कहते
डीजीसीए का उड़ान उड़ान
हैं.
उड़ान
उड़ान स्कीम, yes.
उड़ान स्कीम का जो एयरपोर्ट है, उसको जो कनेक्ट करते हैं, उसमें हमेशा एक्स्ट्रा टाइम है उनके पास. पहला बात तो वो एयरपोर्ट पे कोई टैक्स नहीं भरना पड़ता है वेट करने के लिए. दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पे भरना पड़ता है. अब बात समझो. तो वो क्या करते हैं, 1 घंटा पहले, आधा घंटा पहले, 1 घंटा नहीं, 10 मिनट भी वहां पे इज इक्वेलेंट टू 1 आवर. आप दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पे 10 मिनट फ्लाइट लगा दो, यू विल बी पेनलाइज्ड. दे नेवर टेक, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, वे ब्रिज. वे ब्रिज जो कनेक्ट करती है ना एयरलाइन को आपके,
Yes, Aero Bridge, Aero
एरो
Bridge.
ब्रिज, सॉरी वे ब्रिज बोल रहा हूँ, एरो ब्रिज. राइट, वो लेते ही नहीं है. वो कहाँ रोकते हैं, बीच गांव में जाके रोक देते हैं, वहां से बस में बिठा के भेज देते हैं सबको. क्यों? क्योंकि उसका चार्ज है, और उस पर अगर 10 मिनट आप एक्स्ट्रा रुकोगे तो $1,000,000 में पे करना है पूरे साल में. अगर आप 10-10 मिनट भी एक्स्ट्रा कर दिए ना, $1,000,000 है.
तो एरोब्रिज में है ही नहीं कभी. इंडिगो इज ऑलवेज आउटसाइड.
ऑलवेज आउटसाइड, कभी नहीं लाएगा वो. ये सब गेम था जो सबने कॉपी करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन वो मेन मुद्दा भूल गए कि वो एक चीज नहीं कर रहा है, वो 2500 चीज एक साथ कर रहा है. वो आप नहीं कर पाओगे, उसको कॉपी करना मुश्किल है. राइट. सो ये सब छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं जो एड्स अप करती हैं, और इसीलिए एयरलाइन एक बहुत डिफिकल्ट बिजनेस है, और इसमें लोग ग्रीन वॉशिंग के चक्कर में पड़ा. एवरीबडी गॉट पेनलाइज्ड. So this case undoubtedly have a far-fetching implication, which we are seeing now for the aviation industry, which is one of the dirtiest industry in the world right now, and beyond even, which we are seeing in the finance industry, right? We have another example recently seen. Of course, it is not apple to apple comparison, but it gives an idea that how world is changing. So as the investigation unfold further, we will be watching closely going forward. If there is any other new cases coming in, I will try to inform you guys in time, and we will have a better discussions. Thank you very much for being patient listener. Hope this class helped you. See you again on next Sunday. Till the time, sayonara, bye bye, take care, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Sumanji.
night.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
sir.
everyone.
Right.